in my junk journal, and it's from my Japan trip. I'm actually obsessed with how it came out, and I'm kind of sad I didn't collect more stuff, because part of me was like, am I actually going to do this junk journal? But I actually did it, so. So that took some time. Here is page 1 and 2, and then pages 3 and 4. This is honestly such a cute idea. I don't know who started it, but I saw it on TikTok, and I love it because as a kid, I used to collect a lot of scraps and put them on my walls or stick them in my binder. And I remember I used to get in trouble, like, this is all trash, like you're just collecting trash and you throw it away. But as a kid, like, those things meant something to me. And so now, as an adult, it's kind of nice to collect, you know, the scraps. Pictures, sometimes you don't always go back and scroll through, you know, or it doesn't have the same vibe, I guess, and it's taking up so much storage. But this, I can keep this forever, and then I can pass it down, like, I don't know, maybe my great-great-grandkids will find this in a chest somewhere and be like, wow, she was cool. I should buy more matcha. Ouch! Oh my gosh, literally. Looks good, but will it taste good? Okay. Yeah. Oh. I was afraid I put too much matcha, but this is perfect. So I ordered 2 matchas. First one is Kyoto Uji matcha in this bag. And then I also ordered the Yabukita matcha, single cultivar deep roast. There were so many options to choose from, so we're gonna be on a journey. Both of these had really great reviews. I watched some videos, I was reading them. We're gonna make a matcha now though, and I'm excited because I've been looking forward to this. I'm at my little coffee station. I don't know which matcha to try first. I think I'm gonna go with this one because it's in the cute little tin. I was going through storage and found this ceramic bowl that I made, I want to say 2 years ago with some friends. We did a pottery class and it came out so nice. I'm so glad I found it because I really wanted a matcha bowl, you know? So I have one already. Like, I didn't know when I made it at the time that it was going to be for matcha, but sometimes you already have what you need. Let's get into it. Here's the whisk that I bought while I was in Japan. I'm gonna soak it first because that's supposed to keep it from breaking, I guess. This beauty. Oh, let me get a little bit closer. I'm so excited. This is so intimate, you guys. Wow. Oh, that smells good. Oh, wow. Oh, she is pretty. She is vibrant. Look at that. Is that okay? Whatever, it's mine. I'm so excited. It's so green. I don't want to spill any. Okay, so I learned a new trick today on TikTok. Apparently, you want to use room temperature water first, and then you use hot temperature water. The temperature changes the taste. So I'm going to try that today as well. I'm going to go 6 grams because I'm a heavy-handed girl. First sip for the camera. Oh, wow. That tastes so different. I know I put some sweetener in it, but that matcha tastes so much different than the other one. I was very curious as to how different it was really going to taste. Like, obviously, Starbucks matcha and the matcha that I had in Japan or even at different coffee shops, like, they taste different. But this is like, this might be the first time I've experienced it tasting this nutty. Like, it almost tastes like almond in a little way. That's really good. Thank you, guys. That was very nice. I love that song. You guys all knew the hand movements. I needed to learn like ahead of time. Well, how's everyone feeling? Good? Great? I heard it. Who said great? Yeah, nice, amazing, perfect. Do I even need to introduce myself? That was such a nice intro. Well, I first just want to say thank you guys so much for having me, and I feel honored to be here. And it's kind of surreal thinking that wrestling would be the means that God would use to allow me to connect with others and share my faith. If you would have told younger me that this is where my life would have turned out, I probably wouldn't believe you, but God works in miraculous ways. So I get to share with some of that story with you guys. I did grow up Catholic. I grew up in a big Catholic family, multi-generational household, big Filipino household on my mom's side. So I kind of had that strong faith foundation laid out for me. They become ingrained until, unfortunately, some tragic events happened in my life. So when I was 7, my dad was killed, and that completely changed the way that I saw the world. Like, the world as I knew it was completely shattered. My parents were pretty young when they had me. So my mom and my dad, they were not married. They were 19 years old. Homegirl's got some commentary. That was really hard for me, just being a kid, and having something that big is a lot to take in. I feel like as a 7-year-old, like, I didn't have the words to really describe how I was feeling. Thankfully, my mom took that as an opportunity to
in a way, reintroduced the faith for me. And she brought forth this idea of having a Heavenly Father who is with me always, that I can rely on, who trusts me, or that I can trust in, that loves me deeply and is protecting me. And if I had that relationship with him, that in some ways I would still be connected to the dad that I had. While I learned to have a personal relationship with Christ early on, I still struggled. To my freshman year of high school, I found myself in an abusive relationship. I didn't have a lot of friends at this high school during that time. No one else really knew what was going on. You would think like, well, why didn't I just talk to God about it? But the truth is, like, I felt like not even worthy of his love. One of the verses that I live by is from Matthew chapter 6, verse 8. Your Father knows what you need before you even ask. The sophomore year of high school, I had weird aspirations of like being a professional basketball player, and you guys saw me, I'm not very tall. So I really thought I was going to go to the WNBA. My mom was very supportive. So I found wrestling, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. If I'm being honest, I really wanted to talk about wrestling. I'm trying to go to a retreat, come to wrestling practice. That would be like sick. The vehicle that God would use to really change my life. God opened doors for me that I didn't even know were possible. It kind of was like this thing that God blessed me with. I'm like, oh, now I want to take it. Can I even glorify God with this? Like, am I even going in the right direction in my life? There was this woman who would always be at mass, and she'd play the piano, and then I talked to her afterwards, and I would cry sometimes. A lot of times I cried. I went to school in Illinois, so I was very far from home. I'll never forget when she told me, Alex, wrestling is your ministry. And I was like, what? Like, ministry, I thought, is like retreats and, being a part of a youth group. Through wrestling, that I realized God was creating a disciple in me. And I learned through my sport that a lot of the characteristics it takes to be a great wrestler are actually the same characteristics it takes to be a great disciple, like learning how to endure through hardship. God showed me that glorifying him doesn't look like just getting my hand raised.
I wanted to know, how do you know when God's talking to you?
That's a really good question. Well, let's think about it. I think it evolves over time first. And I think the best way to know that it's God is being familiar with his voice, like reading the word and studying it often. Like, God tells you throughout the Bible, like how he wants you to worship, how he wants you to conduct yourself. And so I think the more familiar you are, then you kind of have an idea of what he sounds like.
So me going to Jiu-Jitsu is definitely a more recent development. I don't train all the time, but I do drop in from time to time. It sort of started after this past Olympic trials. I took a much needed break from wrestling, and I still wanted to make sure that I was exercising, but I actually really don't like going to the gym very much, to be quite honest. Like, if I'm not training for wrestling, I really don't like to be in the gym. I'd rather be doing something with my body, if that makes sense at all. So I started dropping into different gyms. I was doing striking classes, I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was doing MMA class, just trying to do different things and learn new skills, which is super, super fun and refreshing. Part of my motivation for learning jiu-jitsu is also the fact that I have taught a wrestling seminar at this gym specifically for the past 3 years. It's going on the third year. And I've also given lessons to MMA athletes and jiu-jitsu athletes, just working on their wrestling skills. So I saw it fit to just have a better understanding of jiu-jitsu as a whole, and trying to understand how wrestling translates rather than just teaching wrestling. Like, it has to be applicable to the athlete in their respective sport. So it's been a lot of fun, and I like to drop in from time to time.